Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Beef Medium Podcast. I'm your host, Zach, aka Snack with Zach, and I'm joined by Ellie's #1 home gardening irrigation expert, my brother and co-host, Matt.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
IDGAFFOODS is on today, and it is probably the most unique episode we've ever had so far, purely because of his story, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's got probably the biggest balls of any content creator I've seen in a while.
Yeah, this man is a recovered drug addict. He's been sober since 2012. His whole shtick on the internet is eating whatever kind of food. I mean, you can imagine fast food, snacks, etc., literally off of the ground in parking lots of gas stations and restaurants, because it's not the worst thing that he's ever done. And he's basically formed a sort of movement, or at least become a voice for a lot of folks that are trying to recover, have dealt with mental health issues, etc. And the story is awesome. So without further ado, please welcome IDGAFFOODS.
So we've got Zach and Matt from Andover, Massachusetts, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Fellow New Englanders.
Yes.
You're telling me a little bit
familiar
about
with that neck of the woods?
I lived in Boston for a few years. My sister went to Northeastern.
Oh, hell yeah.
I lived on Beacon Street right out of Kenmore Square by the St. Mary's T-Stop, and I lived on Tetlow.
When was the last time you were back in the city anyway? I meant to ask you that.
Boston?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Boston in a long time.
But you're a big pizza guy. Do you have any takes on the kings of Boston pizza in particular, having grown up in Connecticut? Do you feel like...
I have no real experience or opinion on New York pizza or Boston pizza.
It's just truly Connecticut.
Yeah, New Haven. To me, there's only one.
Well, I mean, New Haven is also as iconic as it gets. I was with some friends and we went to Sally's and they'd never had New Haven pizza, and it was incredible. But then everybody else was chiming in being like, why didn't you go to Modern? Why didn't you go to Frank Pepe's? And I was like, there's only so many pizzas you can do on a 1.5 hour stop for lunch.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like where I'm from, Hartford, Connecticut is a divisive, because it's a divided area between New York City and Boston. And I think it's the same thing with a lot of those pizza restaurants. You know, some people go real hard to Sally's, some people go real hard to Pepe's, and they're like really opinionated about it. I think what I've learned is like there are certain foods that bring us together, and I think that's what brought us together here today.
Absolutely.
Like cheeseburgers bring us together. Pizza brings us together. Like it's something that we can relate to, that we all have opinions about, and it's really important food in our society. Pizza is. I also love cheeseburgers.
You're like a serious pizza aficionado off screen. Like what are you doing in your free time?
I take pizza very seriously. I don't have a lot of free time, but when I do, I do enjoy making pizza on the weekend. Respectfully, the pizza in Utah leaves something to be desired, as does a lot of the cuisine. And when you come from such a culinary area, I'll call it, such as the Northeast, you know, all the way from Portland, Maine, I'll say, down to Delaware, right? You've got your Maryland, right? You've got your crabs, your blue crabs, right? Your Old Bay seasoning, all the way up to the lobster bisque with a whole tail in it in Portland, right? I remember having a lobster bisque in Portland a long time ago, and they put a whole tail inside of like this cream broth. It was like the best thing I've ever had. And then you've got all these great Italian restaurants and all this different cuisine. And particularly the Italian food I miss the most. I miss the sausage and the peppers, the meatballs, but specifically the pizza. And in December of 2022, I got an uni Christmas for Christmas.
Neat.
And just to offer some more detail, most of the really iconic pizza restaurants for the category pizza that I like, which is the New Haven pizza, it's a coal-fired brick oven that's like 120 years old. So it's really seasoned, and it's got a lot of history and a lot of flavor, and I think that's part of what makes it special. I don't have a 120-year-old coal-fired oven, but I
though, for the record.
I do the best I can with an uni, and I do well. I think I could pull an 8-1 from Portnoy. On One Bite, everybody knows the rules from Barstool Sports. I think he's also a mass guy. He's also a mass guy. Yeah.
Is that you being modest about your score, though? Realistically, do you actually think the pizza is better, or do you think that Portnoy is more harsh than other pizza critics?
I think he goes real hard into that New Haven category, and I think that's what I make.
That's true.
And I mean,
it is the bar.
I would be happy with a 7.5. I think that's me being modest or humble, but I think I could pull an 8.1. Yeah, I enjoy it. I do a New Haven recipe through and through. People ask me for the recipe. I will not give it to them.
Nor should you.
Proprietary stuff.
It's a 5-ingredient, sometimes 6 bread flour scenario with the dough, 48 to 72 hour proof. I mill my own San Marzano tomatoes. They're not my own tomatoes. I mill San Marzano tomatoes and add a few things in there. I use 3 or 4 cheeses depending on how I'm feeling. The cheeses that I use are excellent cheeses, and I use them sparingly. And I really have adopted Portnoy's philosophy that if you can't make a good cheese pizza, go home.
Dude, I got so much shit for saying that my favorite pizza was cheese on the internet, and it was just so fucking stupid, because this goes into, I mean, what we talked about before with people's dumb opinions on the internet, because everybody's going to have some sort of benchmark for whatever. But when it comes to cheese pizza, it's just hard to beat. It's the baseline for everything.
If you can't do that right, go home.
Yeah.
It's like walking into a Mexican restaurant. If the chips and salsa are like, that's sort of, let's get that right, And I'm not too judgmental, especially these days. But you
were telling me offline about the cracked stone philosophy that you have.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
Really,
that's a good name for like a hipster rustic pizza place. I probably won't use it. But my stone is cracked in my pizza oven. And I noticed that a lot of the old-timey ovens have cracked stones in them. Like once they go in there, if you can see a lot of it's cracked up in there. I went through like 3 stones because what happens when I fire that thing up in February, sometimes I'll just go back out and the thing will be cracked. And I probably should have slowed it down a little bit, but I just put it right out in the cold and fucking fired up. And it cracks. And I actually stopped asking for new ones because I think it produces something different with the airflow that produces a more balanced cook. And so I was thinking cracked stone would be a good name if I ever wanted to open a pizza restaurant. That would be like kind of a cool name.
If somebody steals that, I'm going to be pissed because I'm trying to be the first person to review cracked stone
also,
in Utah.
I've been listening to a lot of Beastie Boys lately. I was thinking about Yeasty Boys would be a good one. It's not really appetizing because it makes me think of a yeast infection.
Yeah, I was going to say that you could go either way with that. If I were to ever open up a pizza place, I've thought about this for years, and I came up with it as a kid, so I thought it was the funniest thing ever, but I would call it Cheese's Crust.
Dude, that would be great out here in Utah.
People would be like, that's fantastic. We could create a real pizza empire. I'm just saying.
When I come out here from the East Coast, I feel like we grew up going, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
And like, you don't say that out here. And it took me a while to remove it. They say cheese and rice. So that's why I like and they say, oh my gosh. Like at home, we would always say, oh my God. So I love your, one more time, what are you going to call it, Zach?
Cheese's Crust. I should trademark that
Cheese's
in the next
Crust?
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Cheese's Crust.
I think you need to hit up the USPTO test system and see if it's already registered. And if it's not, you can go on one of those websites and get it filed for a quarter of the cost of what you would pay your local attorney.
See, my secret is I went to Suffolk University in Boston. Did not study law school, but it's known for its law school. Well, there's a really great resource at a lot of different law schools as well, where you can use the student attorneys who take on your projects as their sort of like capstones. So then they do the legal work for free. And then you still pay for the filing fees, etc. I would say it's giving them the opportunity to explore a legal case while also giving me the benefit of not having to pay a lawyer $1,000 an hour.
There you go.
Question: how did you? Because you're in Utah now. Going from Connecticut to Utah is quite the change. You're going from like that bruised New England, like we swear like sailors, to this very like Mormon and kind of proper. What brought you to Utah? Why Utah?
There was a connection here, and I was able to get some employment here There's a phrase in the addiction recovery community, addiction community. Everywhere I went, I brought myself with me. Unfortunately, I brought myself with me when I came here. You know, it has become home here. I tore the place up for like 2 years when I first got here.
How many years has it been?
I've been here since 2010, I think.
I don't even remember what year it is. 2025. Oh, it's been 15 years. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And so your larger story is really fascinating.
Yeah.
You're somebody who, at least on social media, you caught my eye a year ago when you started your page. I've been following you. Apparently, I thought you've been doing this for way longer, given how much your page has grown. But walk folks who are unfamiliar with your content, what you do, and tell us a little bit about why you do it.
If I had to point towards like the three most freeing things in my life, like finally getting off the drugs, realizing that I'm an artist. In 2012, I started messing around with an iMac computer, and it really changed like my view and experience with computers. It felt like I could do things now, like I could go into iMovie and string some clips together. This computer allowed me to explore art, and I started making a lot of like whacked out like digital art, and I really enjoyed it, and I found it very therapeutic, and making this digital art became part of my recovery. So quitting drugs, realizing that I'm an artist, and then becoming an artist professionally, those were the two things that helped me to really become free, if you will. And then the third thing is being around a small group of people who let me be myself. And like to start this account was like me in a weird spot in my life where I was sort of had a case of the fuckets. There's no other way to say it. And I find I just had that recently, so it must be some seasonal thing I get this time of year. But I had the fuckets, and I felt like I could go do more art. And the art in this case is the way that I frame up my media, the message that I share, the truth, my truth that I share. Everything I say in my bits is true with regard to my personal experience with drugs or alcohol or mental health. This isn't the first time I've had a viral account, but this is what I do. And it started off as one of the most like sort of defeated and negative things I could do. If you look in my eyes in the 7-Eleven bit on Instagram that's got 14.6 million views, there's like this sadness in my eyes. And like then I sort of perk up like towards the end of it. And what started off as like one of the most saddest, most defeated things I felt I had done, like within 24 to 48 hours, I became flooded with messages, just flooded. And it was like, hey, thank you for being real. Thank you for sharing this. This is just what the internet needs right now, is somebody that's not full of shit and trying to communicate some bullshit lifestyle. And the messages that I get where people say, they're so touching, they're so amazing. They say like, hey, I was going to go do drugs last night and I'm trying to stop, and I watched some of these videos and I didn't. Hey, I just got back from a 30-day rehab program. Something in your material inspired me to like take that step. Or, hey, I have an eating disorder and I don't like to eat anything, and I feel like there are some options now. And I was just like at the airport yesterday and I didn't want to eat, but I had a muffin, and that was like a major step for me. So I regularly get this feedback in the categories of addiction recovery, eating disorder, mental health, obsessive compulsive disorder. That's sort of what this has become about. And so what started off as like this really negative thing to me, where I was like thinking about, doing drugs or whatever, and I'm like, fuck it, fuck this. I'll just go fucking sick because I'm sick of hearing all this shit.
Yeah.
I had been in the grocery store a month before I started this, and it felt like there were no options in the store.
And that's largely an issue because of what people are saying on social media,
right.
I feel, these days.
Yeah, I'm in the grocery store and I'm like, according to everything in here is terrible.
everything will kill you, man.
Right.
It's just the worst. You're supposed to just eat air.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, the positions I used to put myself in and the things that I used to do, and I'm sitting here now, like, buying into this. It's like, fuck this. And so, like, for me, I had some weird things I'd do. Like, I'd put myself in these real compromising positions, but then I'd go, like, wash my hands compulsively.
Yeah. It's almost like a rubber band effect in a way where it snaps and then there's that recoil where you do it and then you're like, oh shit. And then you have to reset it in a way. Is that accurate?
I think I understand. I just refer to it as some weird compensation personally. Yeah. And like, I was just so, and it's like a trick. It's like a mental trick, like washing myself of something literally, right? Like, hey, I just put myself in this terrible compromising position with like untested drugs, with apparatus to use them that is unsanitary, unsterile. Don't know anyone, don't know this thing, and now I'm going to go wash my hands and open a fucking doorknob with my shirt.
I still do that, man.
And so that was me.
Yeah.
And so like eating the food off the ground, it was like a big step for me. Like,
yeah,
when I say don't be a pussy at the end of every bit, I'm talking to myself. And people need to hear that too, to get through the day. Don't be a pussy.
That's also what you're now known for. You said publicly, people come up to you and you're like, you're the don't be a pussy guy.
Yeah, nobody really knows the name of my account. They all just call me the don't be a pussy guy.
Which is funny because I think that your account, IDGAFFOODS, is arguably, that's to me more memorable because you started off with, I don't give a fuck. The shtick really, really works because there are a lot of folks that are frustrated with the constant preaching of people. And my perspective is that I think life is about moderation and balance, at least when it comes to food. But there are so many holier than thou people on the internet that just shit on people for eating whatever and liking what they and you've done a really good job of, normalizing so many things to become such a figure for folks in recovery or trying to recover, like you said, mental health disorders. To become that figure is a really, really great side effect. But for also so many people, it's really validating to not have to buy into this specifically targeted, seeded, general, mass health campaign. It's
this hysteria.
Yeah, there's a hysteria over a bunch of shit. And like the Takis meal is a good example of that from Wendy's, because obviously there's going to be like a ton of Red 40 and there's plenty of science, but folks sometimes want to go out and enjoy things, and it's hard to do that when you have so many mouthpieces talking about how this is like killing you and it's causing cancer and all sorts of random ass shit.
I think it's important for me to say, generally, when there are opportunities, I pass because I am staying true to my art, and this is my art. And when I do these bits, it's because I'm interested in the food or the material. And I went and did the Takis one the other night because I watched yours. And I grew up with Wendy's, like, all hungover and shit, like going to get the 99-cent JBCs and the junior bacon cheeseburgers and the nuggets. Like, we would always roll through there, like, late night and get a Frosty. And, like, so I've always been partial to Wendy's. And, like, that Takis thing, I was going into it, I was like, there's no way this can be good. I was like, there is no way. And, like, I straight up finished that shit, like, in the parking lot off the ground after after I stopped. Like, when I was cleaning it up, because I always try to clean up a little bit. And
good man.
Like, that's why I have this bucket, which I'm actually sitting on right now. It also,
are you sitting on the bucket?
Yeah,
presently?
It also acts as a trash can.
That's incredible.
And I did eat the shit out of that Takis. I thought it was great. I was like, there's no way. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around this. So congratulations to Wendy's for their marketing and product development of that thing.
Well, that's all. There was a lot
hilarious.
Of R&D behind those fries in particular, because people thought they just took the Taki seasoning and threw it on the fries, but the R&D kitchen made a whole new seasoning for the fries. And I was skeptical as well when I tried it, because I was like, all right, there have been so many things that have been disappointments recently from companies, and I went back in with the sandwich too, and I was like, this is just generally
the sandwich
really
was
delicious.
great.
It was great. It was a great sandwich.
Yeah.
Are there other things you've had recently that have pleasantly surprised you?
Part of the exposure therapy, like I was referring to, has been exposing myself to condiments.
Yes.
I used to hate condiments, and I would jokingly tell people that I had a condimentophobia because it was fun to say I have a condimentophobia. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but
I bet you could get that coined term.
There you go. And there was one bit that I did like really early on where I barehanded like mayonnaise like onto some ham. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I like mayonnaise. I don't really like mayonnaise. So if you see me eating mayonnaise, just know that's like a hurdle for me that I'll accept these days. And like, if it comes on my sandwich, I won't send my sandwich back, but I think it tastes like sour, greasy air. And I think that there are some different, like the brand to brand, like they do taste different to me. And there's one in particular that I think I prefer Duke's. Like if I had to eat it, I do think there's a difference between, what is it? Hellman's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think of
Kraft?
if I've ever had, yep.
And then
Hellman's,
Duke's.
Best, Kewpie.
See, here's the thing.
Duke's
one of
great.
the brothers in this chat eats mayo out of the jar. The other doesn't.
No,
You're
don't.
a sick fuck.
No, I don't. I don't do that.
No, he's lying, bro. Because as kids,
It's okay.
you literally would just like lick it off the spoon out of the jar, man.
My sister used to do that type of shit, and that's what I think. She used to put like olives on her fingers and dip them in ketchup and like chase me around. And they'd eat like mayonnaise and tomato sandwiches in the summer, and I'm like watching it in the corner of their mouth, like I couldn't even handle it. But what have I tried that surprised me is what I'm getting to is mustard. I'm getting to mustard. Something that I've tried that I've surprised me, mustard.
But you've gone hardcore into one specific mustard.
Yeah, French's
recently.
mustard. I love that shit. I love it on raw hamburger. I think it's delicious. I love it by itself. I don't really like it on other things that much.
If you're condiment phobic, when did you try the French's mustard? What was that point?
I think
the tipping point.
Yeah.
I think the first one I did it in was a Subway bit.
Okay.
About cold cuts. I was raised on Pop-Tarts and ham, you know? And they say that now like the cold cuts are carcinogenic. And I was at Subway making a bit about how cold cuts are carcinogenic, and I attached that to weed and anxiety.
Yeah.
And I had a thing of French's mustard in my car like all fucking day. And it was like a big deal for me to take this out and like hit it before I took a bite of the sandwich. And like that shit was hot and like it hit the back of my throat. And I was like, it's not that bad.
It was a physically very warm mustard.
Yes.
You chased with warm ass mustard.
Yes.
Which, respect to you.
Yeah.
That's
and then I would eat like a whole ladle full of it and not have any response to it other than not bad. But mayonnaise.
I feel about something like soy sauce too.
Soy sauce?
Soy sauce, I could all the time. I could drink that. I used to low key.
I did a bacon sashimi bit where I ate some raw bacon. It's one of the first ones that I made, and I had the soy sauce in that, and it was light soy sauce.
Yeah.
Now it was like one of those internet things that I didn't it's like, well, duh, now. But everyone was like, yo, he's using light soy sauce. Like, listen to this guy saying, don't be a pussy using light soy sauce. Yeah, I fuck with soy sauce. You know, I like my sushi and my sashimi.
I like how people call that out, though. They're like, he's using light soy sauce, but you're also having raw-ass bacon.
Yeah.
And they're focusing on the light soy sauce as the thing. And what's crazy to me is that you've never gotten sick from this.
Yeah, no, never.
Knock 'em wood.
I mean, I'm not even afraid to put it out there like that. I was for a minute. No, I have never been sick. There was one thing that got me a little bit was the olive oil chug. Made me a little queasy.
I think it's more of a thing with the fat content of the olive oil.
But dude, I've done full for 12 to 16 ounces of canola oil.
Holy
I went
shit.
viral like super viral back when the political stuff was going on. I guess it would have been, I don't know, October or November. I don't remember exactly when I did the
seed
bit,
oils. Oh my God.
but they said that I was drinking the seed oil to protest. They referred to me as a liberal drinking seed oil in protest of the incoming administration and sort of the Make America Healthy Again campaign. It had nothing to do with that. It just had to do with the fact that it seems to be in everything, and they are saying it's terrible, but I can find any study I want and any information I want online. They're all hitting beef real hard, but then Cleveland Clinic comes out with a study that says they see a spike in colorectal cancer in people under 50 that have a heavy beef diet, right?
Yeah.
So like, so I just drank the fucking canola oil. And yeah, so I got contacted by like fact check people, and it actually got taken down. A lot of my shit gets taken down.
Which is fucked up, for the record. That's so disappointing.
It got taken down by TikTok, I believe, and like Instagram suppressed it. So I've done 3 or 4 oil chugs. I did 2 olive oils. I did canola oil, and I did avocado oil.
It almost sounds like a cleanse in some way.
Fucking smoothest and easiest of all of them. The olive oil made me a little nauseous the first time. It might have just, I don't know what it was, but I was fine. Other than that, like, it was a cleanse, like, I guess, right? So I didn't have any other problems. I woke up the next day and took 3 or 4 perfect fucking shits. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I also think the seed oils thing is honestly, and I'll say this on the record, is really just fucking stupid, because there are so many scientific actual studies that are like, nah, they're fine, and then people latch onto these specific things. I think what you did was genius by doing that. You definitely created a lot of buzz, and is there any bad press at the end of the day? But to have it turn into this whole massive thing is ridiculous.
It's so interesting that you talk about how like people have like tried to politicize like what you were doing early on, but like I feel like even now,
fucking political football.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like it's so hard to extricate yourself from that, and especially like now that like Maha is such a big thing. Have you noticed people reacting more strongly to your content now that the current administration and their messages are there, or is it just kind of like keep on keeping on, like you just kind of ignore the noise and just continue to make your content regardless of what everyone is saying?
At this point, it's about staying true to myself and the art, with the objective of helping people and getting this feedback and entertaining people. I want to entertain people, and I want them to find it interesting and different and unique, which it is.
It is.
I've been clean since November 5th, 2012. No sips, no shots, no snorts, no nothing. And I do have a responsibility to give back to people. And generally I do things in an unorthodox, different kind of my own way. And I feel that I am fulfilling that responsibility to spread recovery and to get through to people in some small way who are struggling with addiction, eating disorder, mental health disorders such as obsessive compulsive disorder. I get feedback from those communities regularly that they find this material supportive.
Yeah, I will say, as somebody who has OCD, I have since I was 10 or younger. I can level with you on the germophobia thing as well. I've never had it to the point where it's been super extreme, but I am somebody who to this day will use my shirt to open door handles. And it's really, really relatable, because I wasn't like a compulsive hand washer, but if I'm cooking too, like during these stages, I will constantly wash my hands. And it is content from you that helps me put things into perspective, to be like, obviously you can be sanitary about things and that's okay, but in at least my brain, I make things a lot bigger of a deal than they really are. Seeing somebody else do that to me is like, oh, the thing that I'm going through, I can actually be more comfortable with pushing my comfort zone, which is your whole story, is you've pushed your comfort zone constantly for years.
I'm just happy to still be here and then trying to enjoy life a little bit. And that's what I'm all about. And that's, part of why I was so excited to be talking to you guys, because I get that same feel from what you do, Zach. And I also consider you to be an artist. Zach, what you do is very artistic, and it's a very hard thing to do. What you're doing is not easy at all. I know when we talked initially, we talked about sort of some people in the audience might be interested in making content or considering doing it. And I've watched what you do, and I find it to be very inspiring. And it takes a lot of work to do what you're doing, and I recognize that.
I'm not going to lie. I'd be lying if I said it was a little emotional over here, and that, because I appreciate it. It's really it takes a lot of work day in and day out to do it, and folks just think it's throwing stuff up, but there's so much research and so much dedication that goes into making things, and it's never 100% perfect. But I created something that just didn't exist on the internet. It became my thing for a while, and then it became very competitive because of the people caught on. And to be recognized for what I've done means a lot. But I also come at it for the senses of that you do, where it's for entertainment purposes for folks, is to keep people informed, but it's also to get people excited about what's coming out. So that's why I have such a rebuke of the people who say like, oh, I'm killing people because I'm talking about snacks. I'm like, I'm doing this to get people excited. You don't have to buy all the things I talk about. I don't expect people to buy the things that I talk about. Some people don't. They just like live vicariously through it. Some people, like you said, have eating disorders. Some folks have dietary restrictions, and they watch the videos because they do live vicariously through me. So yeah, that means a lot. Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah. I think it's important that people know that you work really hard to do what you do.
I am literally constantly thinking about my content, which isn't necessarily the healthiest, but I've done a lot to separate. Like, I don't always check social media after certain hours. I like log off, so I'm not just constantly looking at it, but it's on my brain so much. And even when I see like dips and things like that, I'm like, is this it? Like, have I fallen off? There are so many fears that come with it. And that's got to be really frustrating for you when sites take down your content, because you put so much care and like love and passion into what you do.
I've kind of started to look at it on a technical level based on the feedback that I really get. It feels like the technology is behind for as advanced as we think these technologies are, and some of this AI is, and the bots and so on, and what they do and how they keep things in accordance with the community guidelines for these various platforms. I think when it comes to my account, I think that they're not looking at it correctly. There are opportunities to appeal. I generally have found that that's a coin flip, and I can't even tell whether I'm getting service or not. And I think that, Zach, you were mentioning that a lot of people copied what you do. A lot of people haven't copied what I do because I say a lot of stuff that people are uncomfortable saying. And so I do get away with some things also. And I recognize that.
Yeah, it helps put you in a really unique area. And I can't pretend like I own the news, but for the formats that were unique to me, it's a different thing. Sure. And people are going to do what they're going to do. But you found something that works that most people aren't bold enough to attempt.
They don't want to do it. They don't want to copy me. So they don't want to say the things I say, and they don't want to eat off the ground. For me, it's a therapy, and I think that imitation is a form of flattery.
Yeah.
For what you do, I think that's a compliment to what you do.
And I am curious. This is for my general wondering. What do you eat on like a regular basis? Like, obviously you do the meat with the mustard sometimes, but do you have like a particular diet? You kind of eat whatever? How does it work off camera?
I start my day with a quad shot of espresso.
Okay.
I'll generally take another 2, late morning, early afternoon. I love cheeseburgers.
Oh, me too, man.
I eat just tons of cheeseburgers. I mean, it's always
who
about...
has the best cheeseburger?
I was gonna say, what's the favorite?
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
That's fine.
I'm gonna have to think about that one.
You're preaching to the choir though, because I love a cheeseburger. I could have a cheeseburger every day if I could.
I eat cheeseburgers for lunch and dinner.
I would do that. I had a quarter pounder yesterday, and I was like, I was waiting for my Uber Eats last night because I was working late, and my food didn't get delivered, and I was like, could I do another burger for Big Dick's?
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Yeah. I just eat cheeseburgers all the time. All the time. I do think it's very important to have American cheese on a cheeseburger, personally.
100%. Nothing melts like it. It has to, you need it to like enrobe the top of the patty.
Yeah.
What other, we were talking with another one of our guests had just moved to Utah a couple years ago. She was talking about local Utah staples for food, like the frog eye salad. It was very specific
Frog eye
things.
salad, funeral potatoes. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else she was talking about. Like weird Mormon shit. No shade to Mormons and what they eat, but it was just like that quintessential, like my girlfriend called it like Depression era cooking, or like that like 1940s, 1950s, you gotta make do with what you got and just throw it all in a bowl type cooking.
I don't have a lot of experience with that, but what I will say is I don't know if my pizza would do well out here.
Do you think it's because the bar is that low that it would be so different from what they have already?
Oh no, it just feels like the taste is different. It's a different appreciation for different flavors here, and I just don't think my pizza would do that well here. Like people get really fired up about this pizza in New Haven and stuff, and like New York City, you've got DeFara, John's Bleecker, right? You've got all these like iconic pizza places.
John's is one of my favorite pizza places of all time, like ever. When I lived in New York, I would take people there who were visiting every single weekend because it's just the John's thing is unmatched. And the fact that they sell it by the pie too, you kind of have to. And would you say Sally's, speaking of pizza, is your favorite New Haven pizza? Then that's the benchmark.
100%. And so when I serve my pizza to people from out of town, they really enjoy it, and my friends in Utah here, they do enjoy it, but there's not that enthusiasm. Like it's like
this is the best thing ever. They're it's good.
You did it right. Yeah. You got that New Haven thing going on right here. I get that, but they, it's just I never had that.
It's really just like that alone, like you're saying, is something that brings so many people together. Yeah. I need to come out to Utah.
Well, next time you're here, I'll make you one.
I've never been to the state.
I'm not afraid.
Matt hasn't either.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to make it. I would love for Portnoy to try it.
I wonder if there's a way that we can make that happen. I mean, it's a pretty big news page at the end of the day. I'm sure in some way we could find a way to get Dave Portnoy to try this pizza. Maybe this clip will go viral and then people will tag Dave. Maybe that's the strategy.
Maybe.
I mean,
he says a lot that people try to get him to come to their home setup, and like he just doesn't really do it. I think as far as I've seen him go with that is he just had a guy who was actually in Utah come to his studio or something, and he cooked the pizza on a stone. And a pizza steel. He cooked it on a steel in like a studio kitchen, and he gave the dude an 8-1. And I think that was as close as he's ever gotten to hitting up a home setup. I think at some point he's going to have to hit up home setups. Maybe.
You like run out of places.
Because I don't think he's stopping. And I'm sure there are pizza places going up faster than he can hit them. But it seems like at some point it would be a cool thing to try. But I'm sure he has his reasons why he doesn't. And he knows what he's doing.
Make a whole show out of that, honestly. That would be a cool, weird internet reality show to just go and be like, all right, we've done all the pizza places in the U.S., so now it's almost like a competition show or something like that.
Somebody's nasty-ass house with, like, fucking cats walking around on the countertops.
That's basically our house. Our parents. I really wonder what my parents' pizza score would be from Dave, because they make they tweak their recipes a lot, but they do the same thing. Like I was telling you, we have a commercial Baker's Pride oven, I think from 1970, that our dad took for like $100 off of eBay, which is hilarious because they're insanely expensive now. But this was maybe 2002, 2003
ish.
Yeah, he souped that thing up, cooks at 750, and they used to do these really grand pizza parties at our house, and their pizza is insanely good. My only complaint about those always is that they're never big enough. They're like almost personal size, so they're like fucking 6 slices.
Yeah.
But man, that's good.
Yeah, but then you just eat 2 of them.
But then they don't make enough. They'll be like, oh, well, the pizza's the appetizer, so we'll make 4 pizzas with 10 guests, and then we'll do other things. And that to me is like, pizza's always been the meal, and it bugs me because it's like different from what we grew up with. You know, it's like we used to have pizza as a meal, now we have pizza as an appetizer. What the hell is this? So yeah, but go figure. So obviously you're doing a lot of cool stuff constantly, and your content has been incredibly helpful for folks just throughout your entirety of doing this for a year. Do you have any advice to folks? I have 2 questions. 1, what is your advice to people creating content? And 2, for anybody that's going through recovery or working through their personal demons, that some would say, what advice do you have for them? So it's twofold.
With reference to making content, there's like a Michael Jordan quote where he talks about being trusted to take shots, and that's why he was so successful. I think we have an opportunity to take shots in media today, and just to keep taking shots because you don't know what's going to work. And I think I've made dozens of accounts, right? And like a few of them have gone, caught. Most of them didn't. And I take a lot of shots to find things that work, resonate with people. As far as people with struggling with addiction, I think that people can find a pathway, their own pathway to recovery. And we all have to find our own way. And it is possible, and it takes work, but it's worth it. I wouldn't go back to my past life. You couldn't pay me enough. Like there's no amount of money that would make me want to go back to that. That crosses my mind sometimes. I think about drugs all the time. Not a day goes by that I don't think about drugs. I think about them all the time. A lot of people have criticized me for the way I recover. A lot of the people that have criticized me have fallen off, relapsed, disappeared, died. I am obsessive. I am a workaholic. I do have this like ridiculous energy that I just put into positive things now. I make a guarantee to people that are running around in the streets when I have an opportunity to talk to them. And I'll share that guarantee now. If you can put like 50% of the hustle, 75% of the hustle that you put into running around in the streets, into doing something positive that's not going to kill you, even if that means getting a job, you will be successful. Because running around in the streets is a very hard job. Being a drug addict is a very hard job. Very hard. And you learn a lot of skills being a drug addict. You learn a lot of skills.
I do have a question off of that.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most valuable thing you've learned from your times as a drug addict?
Persistence. You got to be a persistent motherfucker to keep up a drug habit. And like,
yeah,
it's so weird the amount of money that goes into an addiction. Like, it's fucking wild. And a lot of people say this. Yeah, it's way expensive.
It's so hard for people who've never experienced addiction to like fully wrap their heads around like how all consuming and just like how much it like dictates your mood and your addiction, like just your direction in life. And so, yeah, being able, even like you said, like recovering, you still think about it all the time. And so it's just such an immense amount of work and like burden to have to bear and to overcome is tough and takes a lot of guts and a lot of grit.
Yeah, it's difficult in all walks of life too, because I've been fortunate where, I haven't had as much of the tendencies as some folks have been predisposed. Matt and I 100% have the genes in our family too, where we've had, plenty of alcoholics. And I still, every once in a while, I've gotten a lot better about it, but I was a smoker, vapor, whatever, through college, and the nicotine addiction is obviously a very real thing. And at this point now, I can kind of put it down and not do it for months, but I didn't realize how much I was spending on it in college as somebody who is broke with this, like, constantly these jewel pods, etc. It's just like, which is obviously it's not anything in comparison to other things, not that it's a contest, but that alone speaks to it. And that's a semi harmless in the grand scheme of things vice, but yeah, you have to do a lot. I know people who are way worse with it, and I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, it's really rough.
I used to smoke Camel Lights. I smoked Camel Lights for a long time. I quit smoking shortly after 2012 when I quit drugs. But what I say to people, I could always stop doing drugs and drinking until 2003 when I found those OC80s that were so prevalent, the Oxycontin, the 80 milligrams, the old formula. And those things were so strong, I tell people those things could have got your fucking mama like a lake bass, just fucking hooked to the gills.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from our area got fucking caught up in that shit.
Did you try them first recreationally, or were they something that were prescribed to you for pain or is there injury, something like that?
Recreational. I was a garbage pit, and then I leveraged an injury to suit my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was a hockey player, and I had 2 cracked vertebrae.
Ooh.
So I cracked vertebrae in a game, and I made it out to be way worse than it was.
Yeah.
To suit my addiction. But those OC80s grabbed me within like 2 weeks. I still know exactly where I was, like in what I was doing when I was like, I need some more of those fucking things.
Damn.
That
was the issue we had where we grew up in the North Shore of Massachusetts, where for the most part it was kids that were, it was 2 things. It was like wisdom tooth surgeries where they were prescribing OxyContin, and then specifically it was kids getting into sports injuries and then being prescribed OxyContin and Percocets and like all these different opiates. And then we had a lot of heroin in the area, so that was the natural path. Once they couldn't get the opiates anymore from the doctor, they went to obviously the darker route of things, and that's where we saw a lot of issues in our high school in particular, which is so unfortunate.
Like that. I could crush up those perks and drink them in my orange juice for years and not get like I got with OxyContin 80s just right out of the gate. And Hartford's I'm sure it still is, it was like an open air drug market, and so it was really easy just to go down there and hit it up and get whatever you wanted there, just right close to home. So I do want to talk about the nastiest thing I've ever seen. I was in the bathroom after I ordered my food, and a worker came in wearing gloves, and I was sort of setting up and getting changed and getting myself ready to go do this, and he just took a monster fucking shit, diarrhea, and he came out of the bathroom still with gloves on, and he shed one pair of gloves into the trash, and then I watched him walk right back into the kitchen food prep area, and then I took my bag of food and walked out to the sidewalk and ate that shit, and that shit was
that's certainly exposure therapy.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly.
That's disgusting. Well, you survived, and you're still here doing your thing. For the folks that want to find you on social media, tell us what's the handle and where can they find you?
at IDGAFFOODS, one word. I don't give a fuck foods. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
You've done really, really great work for folks.
IDGAFFoods.com, and there's an interview up there with GQ. Shout out.
Cool as hell, but that's the story for another day. You've done a lot of great work for folks, and I know it's largely for you as well, but I hope you know that everything you do every single day keeps a lot of us going. So thank you for coming on. We really, really appreciate it, and it was great to finally meet you face to face.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Hell yeah. Take care, man.